What's going on, guys? It's Andrew with AvalonKing. Welcome back to the channel. Today is a really exciting day because we ended up buying a project car. This is a 1985 Pontiac. What the fuck?
Born with gasoline for blood and a turbo for a heart, the lone driver sets out to create the ultimate driving machine. Melding flesh with steel, he harnesses the dark art of automotive mechanics to bend speed and power to his will.
I have a sudden urge for vigilante justice. I'm just gonna get in the car. Oh, wait, hold up. Okay. $10 says that is a plot device.
Scanning. Scan complete. Agent Andrew Powell confirmed. Your mission is to modify this 85 Pontiac Fiero to outperform the vehicle of a known evil genius. He is constructing a similar vehicle. Exceed him in every aspect. Speed, handling, and style. His identity is unknown. This message will now self-destruct.
Dope. I'm glad that didn't happen. I'm keeping these sunglasses. These are sick. Well, you heard HQ. I have my mission. I have to defeat this rival, this evil genius. So to do that, I gotta whip this car back into shape. So let's start with what's wrong. What's wrong with this car? Well, interior-wise, we're already here, and I don't want to have to get in and out of the car. It's kind of a process. The interior is in fantastic shape.
Customers can't help but wonder what it's like to glide down the highway in the cockpit of a Fiero GT.
The seats are basically brand new. They were just recovered. So seats are good.
With standard features like new sporty tone-on-tone Palex cloth seats.
The carpet's in good shape. The dash could use a little painting. It's not terrible. It's pretty standard 80s car dash. It's in really good shape.
A Formula 3-spoke steering wheel that tilts. A Delco GM ETR AM/FM stereo with clock, and much, much more.
The upgrades that the previous owner or owners have installed would be this modern rear view mirror, this modern CD player with auxiliary input, and I believe this is a short shifter for the Cobalt SS or F23 transmission from GM. It's typically, when I see pictures of Fiero interiors, the shifter's like way up here for some reason. So I think that's an adaptation for the current transmission.
The super smooth shifting of its 4-speed manual overdrive transmission.
Other than that, interior's freaking mint, bro. I think most of the work, well, I know most of the work is either outside or underneath the car. So let's scope out the exterior, the condition of the paint, and then we'll go into the engine bay, and I'll reveal this car's pièce de résistance.
Just tell them about Fiero GT's aerodynamics. The sleek aero nose, special ground effect side skirts, an impressive 0.37 drag coefficient.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. Ha ha ha. Fat guy in a little car. We get it. As you can see, the paint, well, the paint's not great. I think it'll end up needing to spend some time at the body shop. The previous owner was doing a repair. He said that he hit that with the welder, I believe. So the paint got burnt off. Whew. Okay, glass, good condition. Wheels, these things gotta go. These are off of some kind of Volkswagen.
And when customers check out Fiero GT's standard 14-inch high-tech cast aluminum wheels, they can't help contemplating the thrill of the open road with Fiero GT's standard WS6 performance package.
The bolt pattern on this is 5x100, which is pretty good. I have a decent selection of wheels. We got to find something that looks the part. Let's check under the hood, shall we? So I told you this thing has an F23 5-speed transmission by GM in it, so that's definitely not stock. That's because this car has had a motor swap. Typically, the Fiero GT has a 2.8-liter V6.
And when prospects see Fiero GT's standard 2.8-liter V6, they can't help but consider the power.
This is a 3.4-liter V6 out of a 90s Camaro or Firebird. So we're pushing about 160 horsepower. No, 180? 100, I mean, who cares? It's a bigger motor, and it's not really that, it's not super fast. But it's got it where it counts. The low-end torque, the longer runners of that intake really help with that low-end torque. Apparently these things are way faster off the line than a stock 2.8-liter Fiero GT. So one of the things right off the bat that I learned about this motor, the oil cap has a sealing issue. It likes to leak oil from the cap, so I gotta find a fix for that. Obviously we'll perform some basic maintenance, spark plugs, air filter, oil change, all that good stuff. So one of the main issues with this car while it's driving is the clutch pedal likes to just go to the floor. So I think we might need to either bleed the slave, and that would suck because the slave cylinder is also the throwout bearing, so that's kind of a pain. Or it may be a bad master because the brakes are also a little, they require more effort than you would want out of a braking system in a sports car.
World-class sports car, a term not to be used lightly, but one we use proudly to describe the new Fiero GT.
So we'll have to double check those. And then also after having driven it, this thing needs some suspension. And I'm thinking maybe we do some upgraded components like some coilovers or lowering springs. New shocks are definitely needed. And of course, poly bushings all around. So we have our work cut out for us. And I'm sure that we'll find a lot of stuff along the way. It's an 80s car, it's older, it's been on the road for a while, so we've got to be ready for the unexpected. But I think that in the end, we will emerge victorious. I'm sure quite a few of you are wondering, why a Fiero? The short answer is, I think these things are freaking cool, man. I'm really into like 80s music and movies and culture, and of course this car fits the bill to a T. It is absolutely a car of its age. And while there are a lot of crazier, higher horsepower swaps available for this car, I think the 3.4 is kind of the perfect middle ground. It's faster than the 2.8, it's got a little more horsepower, a little more torque, but it's not insane. It's not crazy like a 3800 supercharged swap, which is really popular for these cars. The goal of this build isn't 1,000 horsepower. I'm not gonna take this thing to the drag strip or roll race it on the highway. I'm not in it for the clout. I'm in it to have fun. I want this car to be really driver focused. I want it to steer well, handle well, brake well. I want the tires to grip the road. I want this to be an attainable, fun, well-performing daily without having to make it unreliable or uncomfortable to drive. Actually, as a car guy, one of my earliest memories is seeing a red Fiero. I was probably 4 or 5 years old. I saw a red Fiero and I just thought it was the coolest car I had ever seen. Bright red, had those crazy retro wheels. I was hooked ever since. They're so unique, they're so strange. These cars actually, they have a really interesting history. The Fiero was made from 1984 to 1988. When these things first launched, people were going bananas for these cars, bro. GM was having to run 3 shifts, 24 hours a day, to try and keep up with production, which is pretty crazy considering this car was only developed with a $400 million budget. Now you're probably thinking, whoa, 400 million bones? That's a lot of cheese. Guess what, bro? In the car world, that's nothing. That's dust, pocket change, lint. GM realized that their initial investment was well worth it. Plus, these things were totally cheap to produce. They used the 4-cylinder Iron Duke motor, which makes like 92 horsepower from the factory. Basically, the mid-80s were a Fiero bonanza. These cars were everywhere. They were selling like hotcakes. Maybe hotcakes is a poor choice of words. The earlier Fieros did have a tendency to catch fire. Some people say up to 20% of the earlier cars caught fire, but I think that might be a slight exaggeration. Either way, these things were still wildly popular, especially when the GT model was launched with the 2.8-liter V6 that had 70 horsepower more than the 4-banger. So we definitely have our work cut out for us with this car, but I'm so excited to dive in and get working on it. The past few days that I've been kind of driving it around, I have just completely fallen in love with it. I'm really excited to fix up the suspension, do some better brakes, and just get this thing dialed in a little more and eventually get it painted. So if you're just as excited about the build as I am, make sure you click the subscribe button. Make sure you click the notification bell so that you're notified as soon as we post updates on this car. We've got a lot of stuff going on in the future, and I can't wait to face off with this evil genius. Whomever he may be, I know that in the end my legs will be tired because I'll have kicked his butt. So as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
In the next video, the car goes up a ramp. Jordan pulls out a secret weapon and... oh shit.